The shop is hot and humid on this summer's morning, but all the doors are open and the cars are rolling in. The curvy 51 Chevy has been leaving puddles, and Vasily and Oliver are trying to see where the leak is coming from.
That might be something in the back here. I see a big drop.
So what do we got here? 1951 Chevy Deluxe? Whoa, what's leaking there?
It's a big leak, like there's an oil here.
Okay, you know what?
We took out the cover and there was, I see like a drip on that bolt there. But like on that side the motor's dry, on that side there's oil.
1951, you think I really want to touch this? Wow, let's think twice about it. Let me see that. Is it from the top?
Well, I see it stopping at the head gasket, see it. And above this it looks clean.
It's leaking oil in a few places, I'm telling you right now. I see it underneath the distributor.
Yeah, there's here that probably all push switch is leaking too.
You know what? I'll tell you what. Wash it, rinse it, blow it, and let it run for a few minutes and see what happens, okay?
Alright.
And do not put the cover back on.
Nick knows that chasing oil leaks on a car this age could be opening a real can of worms. But he likes this old Chevy, and he wants to help his client out. So the first thing to do is clean all the old crud out of the way and get the underbelly spotless. Then they'll let her run for a little while so they can see where the problems are located.
There's a last part that leaks, so we're gonna bring it down, start it up. But hopefully we'll find the leak. I think the fuel pump is leaking oil too. Yeah.
The fuel pump?
Yeah, that's it.
See?
Look in here, you see the pin. That was white before I cleaned it, you see?
Oh yeah.
That's the only thing I see so far.
It could be.
I don't see anything else.
Okay, we're looking at the fuel pump, which I believe the diaphragm is damaged inside the fuel pump. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to find a fuel pump for a 51 Chevy with the 216 6-cylinder. So we're gonna start with just replacing the fuel pump, and then we'll see further on if it needs anything else. And for now, we're just gonna change the pump and take it from there.
51 gets a new fuel pump, and the old Chevy is ready for another weekend cruise.
It's awesome, this car, man. I really like it.
Just one of the many great cars and kind people you'll find when you hang out at Nick's Garage.
It's not a real GM unless its seatbelt gets twisted like this.
The regulars come from all over town for the good things that happen at Nick's. But today, there's a Mopar fan in the shop who's come nearly 20,000 kilometers to be here.
My God, here we go. You're from New Zealand and your name is?
Steve.
Steve. Welcome to Canada. Is this your first trip?
Thank you. Yeah, it is.
My pleasure to see you, man. I know I got your calls a few times.
Yeah.
I also promised you a couple of caps.
Yes.
I'll get them for you, and I'm really surprised that you came over from New Zealand just to see a car. That's on the other side of the world.
Yeah, it's a
That's a long
way.
trip.
You need to meet the owner and decide what's he like. Is he a person that I would buy it off?
You know, like it's one thing what they say, and you want to make sure it is what they say.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, Steve, man, that's something. Man, welcome to Canada, buddy.
Thank you. Yeah.
Welcome to Canada.
Great.
Steve came all the way from New Zealand to Montreal to buy a 1968 GTX with a 440 and bring it home. And since he's also a fan of Nick's Garage on YouTube, he decided to swing by the shop and check things out while he's here. Nick shows Steve the 1968 Charger that will be going to Australia with the 426 Hemi that's currently on the dyno for testing. John, the Charger's owner, is supposed to be coming by the shop this afternoon as well, so Nick will have two visitors from the other side of the world today.
It's nice to see two guys bought American muscle cars from Montreal and going overseas.
Yeah.
Is that something or what?
It is really.
And look at that, they both ended up in this garage here in Montreal, Laval. Come, I'll show you Hemi Edge on the dyno. Come.
Oh, cool. Oh, Hemi on the dyno.
Hemi on the dyno.
The Hemi for the Charger is looking and running great. It made 496 horsepower, and we watched Nick tuning the carbs in a previous episode. But not everything is running perfectly. Nick's beloved dyno isn't performing correctly. It won't give accurate RPM readings. So he's using a timing light as a tack, and he's been going through the circuitry trying to track down the problem.
This is going to be a very rare shot. Here we have somebody from New Zealand, Steve. Then we got John coming in from Australia, and they both bought cars from Montreal here in Quebec. And we have them both here on the same day on a Saturday here at Nick's Garage. And I'm flattered that they're both here today. So I got to start the engine, warm it up, and for I feel bad that my dynamometer is not working today, but I want to make a little video with the engine running and my folks here, or my viewers from the other side of the world. And yeah, I want to welcome you guys here with a little sound in our dyno. Okay, we're not going to rev it up, at least have it idling, maybe rev it up a little bit, maybe you can hear something.
Awesome.
So I'm just going to get it started up and warm it up.
Okay.
Warm it up.
Yep.
next week for now. But right now I don't care. I just want to let it idle. That's all I care. I just want to show to John the engine running.
The Hemi is purring, but the dyno clearly isn't feeling well, and that isn't making Nick happy. He needs this tool for his shop to be running smoothly. Nick is disappointed that his dyno has picked today to stop working, when people have come from so far to see it.
Johnny, welcome.
At the end of the afternoon, John and his son Nicholas come by to see the Hemi they're having shipped back to Australia. Once Nick puts it back in the fantastic 68 Charger they came all the way to Montreal to buy.
John, Nicholas, Joe, this is Steve from New Zealand.
Hi,
He
Steve.
just bought a 68
Nice to meet
GTS.
you.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Welcome.
Yeah, yeah. Bought it. He's on our cars and I just bought it. And at 3:30 he's flying out, and Alain's going to take him to the airport.
Okay.
And,
Nice.
and he wanted to see the engine run on the dyno. So we said let's get it running and see what happens.
Yeah,
Let's
all
do
right.
it.
So
Let's go. I don't have the
Dyno-
numbers, but let me see what happens. Let's see. I'm going to just show you a
All
few
right.
things.
Good no worries.
Come inside, you guys. You guys should stay longer, man. You're in Canada. Canada's a very big country.
I'm gonna come back.
Listen, I don't know if it's gonna work or not. I got it warmed up, and I just want to make a small pool. We don't have any RPMs. I'm using my timing light as an RPM.
Okay.
So I wanted to show a little demonstration with you here.
Right.
And so with Steve from New Zealand. And I don't know, let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it small. I'm not gonna rev it high because I don't know if it's gonna shut off.
Yeah.
We stayed here till 10 o'clock last night trying to figure this out with Manny, and it didn't work. So I'm gonna work on it next week. But in case you want to see a little test, we'll make one right now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Is that okay?
Right, thank you.
All right.
Rev it a little bit high if it blows up, but Joe will pay for it.
There we go. There we go. Rev it high. There we go.
How's that?
There it is. I'm gonna let it run. Warm it up. I'm only gonna take it to 5.6 just for insurance. I'm gonna start at 2,800 and go to 5,600. I can't believe it. We got two guys from the other side of the planet. I got John here with son Nicholas from Australia, and I've got Steve here from New Zealand. And they're both owners of two muscle cars from Montreal going all the way to the other side of the planet.
Using his timing light as a tack and his ears as an emergency shutdown, Nick prepares to make a pull to 5,600.
You see, we did it before and it worked, eh? God, let's try it again.
The dyno isn't responding. The engine starts and runs fine, but when Nick hits the green button to start the program and climb through the RPM range, it just won't respond.
Maybe we'll reset. Close everything.
You see that? We did one this morning. We tried it. It worked.
It works, yeah.
My God, I'm not even allowed to
But
work here, man.
put the power off too, I think. I'm gonna cancel my flight, so I'm gonna be back here tomorrow
I'm
morning.
not
okay?
lucky, man. I'm not lucky.
Only because I like you.
John,
That's all right.
John, I'm sorry, man.
No, don't be sorry. That's all right.
We did. I can't believe
This morning
it.
we did the test.
Yeah, we did a test.
Even last
And
week it was working good.
Yeah.
I know, we did one this morning. We pushed it, the lock, it went up, and then we stopped it.
Yeah.
That's okay, we're ready for John. Oh my God, I'm not lucky. Okay, let's try it again. Can't believe it.
Well, maybe.
I'm trying to get this Dyno to work, and now I've got I got two Nick's Garage viewers from on the other side of the planet. I can't get this thing to work. What a lucky day.
Maybe
You know what? I'm keep trying. It better work. I'm gonna take it on a less RPM, but I can't get it going with my automatic start button. Well, I'm gonna try it again. Here we go. Jeez. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. What a disappointment. What a disappointment. I think it's time to get a new dyno. I don't know why. I just can't get it going.
No, that's okay.
Can't get it.
I'll just cancel my flights and come back here tomorrow. With a bit of hope. We'll stay for another week.
We were here last night.
I'll buy another car. Joe will send me another car.
We were here till 10 o'clock last night. We filled the books. Super full never called me so I could check out what I could do. And I was with Manny here last night and we tried all the little things. We stripped all the wiring, put it all back, and
Yep.
I think it's some sort of sensor. I'm not sure.
I've got you a nice port from Australia.
No kidding.
Start drinking now, then we'll go back to work.
Sounds good. Maybe we'll do that.
Nick really wanted to put on a show for his visitors, but the guys are very kind and understanding. After all, they'll be able to put on plenty of shows of their own when they get their cars home in a couple of months from now. John and Nicholas catch their plane home in the morning, but Steve has to be at the airport soon. But there's no chance of him being late, as Big Al is giving him a lift in his Hemi Satellite.
Thank you. See you.
Just your everyday transportation at Nick's Garage.